like, where did this team come from? What kind of preparation have been doing? And apparently they've been doing that for 2 months straight.
And they will rise up early to just make sure that they get that training in hand and they prepare for every single opponent and give them well enough of respect. And of course, let's check out Axis Esports as well. And it already ring volumes across this entire arena. But of course, looking at how Axis Esports just responded with, oh, games usually only last 10 minutes for us, but for you, just 10 seconds will do.
All right, the game is looking to be set up. We're getting ready to go. We're revving up those engines. These players, hopefully they're warmed up to give us one exhilarating game.
Well, my engines are up and running, and we're ready for our very first draft as well, coming up online in just a little few moments. And now, speaking of drafting, I think both sides are really flexible with their picks.
Yes.
So this is bound to be one of the most exciting games that we will possibly see for today. I'm expecting high kill volumes all across. You can just say, screw those objectives. Just go for fights.
Take those fights. Go for those bloody bouts. I'm excited to see how that plays out more than anything else. But I think 10-second gaming, you know, they're calm. They're collected. They'll take fights when it's in their own right. They will dictate the pace of the game. But Axis, we know them as the people who like to throw wrenches in a lot of team players' plans.
Display.
Yung ano nakalagay.
Nasaan?
Yung lock ba yun?
Screen time. Paano yan? Ano to? None. Wala naman.
Ayan. Yung ano. 30 seconds. Hindi dapat yan.
Booyah now securing that export. Well, it's really that sort of flex pick where you can still play him as a support as well. So let's see whether or not will this be a fighter sort of export coming in. But I still prefer him, of course, building a lot more tankiness and getting a whole lot more farm than just to roam around, being a ward. Have Kaja up available. They should be able to actually secure this, or you know, they can also go in for that Esmeralda, where you see there's so little grade A sort of a mage up online, so they should go for it. And of course, how could I forget the Masha as well?
Yep, looks like they're going to be locking in the Masha for themselves. Now we're going back over to the blue side. What do they want to pick up for themselves? They had the first pick initially, but let's see how this plays out.
Well, not too sure how exactly this one's going to go for them, but I did mention Kaja. We got to find a way to... So there we go. Lilia has been picked during the group stages, and they will go to their trusty mage once more. Baxia has been brought out as well, and we saw how many times Totoposans, as well as, well, we're of course having some great laugh, but that's her name because it's so hard for us.
Tortoise. Potato, same thing. But yeah, you do bring up a really good point here with the Baxia as well.
So hard to kill.
It's so difficult. I mean, both of them, especially for on the mage side, the Black Shoes is just a great option. Granger going to be locked in that locking his final pick for the first phase. Now moving into the second phase here, a lot of options are still up on the table. Both sides still need a tank. Both sides are trying to kind of figure out how are we going to punish them coming into the second phase of the bans.
Well, I like that Granger pickup as well. This is definitely for the hands of Love. That Rafaela, and look at his lineup. It's really hard to kill. If you do have that Rafaela coming in, it's going to be even tougher to actually shut them down inside of all these sort of team fights.
I absolutely agree. I think Kaja is going to be a great man here with a 60% win rate overall throughout the tournament. They've been doing such a great job with it, and whoever has it, it's so oppressive. It can be very frustrating to deal with. But I think more importantly is why are they leaving the Kufra up? They know for a fact Gushin is still on the table for the side of Axis Esports. I mean, we know for a fact that 10 Seconds Gaming, they don't want to go with a double mage comp with what they have right now. They lock in the Kufra up for Axis Esports, and now Cho, as well as Gato Gacha for the side of 10 Seconds Gaming.
Whoa, beefy lineup coming in from 10 Seconds Gaming Plus. And of course, my blue eyes forgot that Rafaela was the second ban coming in. So, of course, Kaja definitely make a whole lot more sense. But if that was left out in the open, I think that 10 Seconds Gaming Plus would have taken that with a heartbeat. Now less its turn. And usually we'd see Axis Esports here taking a small game. They just need a mage.
Yeah, they just really need a mage here. It's a little scary to actually go for the Gushing here because there's not a lot of options to actually do it, but I think they're kind of forced to go with it because there's just nothing good to take off the table that's to be able to deal with it. But you know, we're talking about Axis Esports. We've seen them make the plays with the Gushing before. It's not like it's unheard of to them, but again, there's not a lot of options left. And 10 Seconds Gaming, I think their composition is a little designed to deal with that Gushing very nicely.
Well, I'm not really all too sure. Well, they're not really spoiled for choice in that sort of sense. As we saw, so many of these mage, they picked off. And Gushing, 14% win rate.
Nyari. Hinto.
Incandescence to actually maneuver around the map, to actually hop across and assassinate mages that will definitely.
Mahal ganito yung madali.
Para lang sa expert, no?
Ay, Gufra. Ay, oo, Gufra.
Yun. At
Wala,
mga,
secure na yung dalawa. Isang match na lang to. Para sa ano.
pwede silang ma...
Oy, Cho.
Uy!
Good.
Oh, teka lang. Medyo...
Kailangan tapusin ng maaga para
oo.
sa 10 seconds.
So gusto nila ata dito within 10 seconds din talaga. Matapos yung laban dito.
Kung iisipin mo, wala silang ano, walang manggagaling na physical damage. Manggagaling physical damage kay Chu. Pero other than that, export, yes, meron. Pero yung burst damage for the early potential, I mean, for the early game, hindi nila makukuha yun. I mean, meron silang Lilia, yes. More on CC sila, yes. Pero yung sa damage agad sa early, Lilia lang magbibigay.
Oo. Kasi kung hindi nila to matatapos or papaabutin nila sa late game, yes, may laban sila kung may...
With win ratios. Now, from our directors, it seems like we are ready to slowly get ourselves into the game. These are your players facing each other inside of the battlefield. Now, heading in towards the mid-lane matchup is going to get a little bit more interesting. So let's talk a little bit about that because Obulian, somewhat of a mage support sort of player coming in as he's pretty well flexible and he's about to face off against Evil X or even Long Orin in that sense.
Yeah, and I think he's got a lot of work. Most of it cut out for him. I think their draft kind of makes it super forgiving to play the composition overall. But I think the most important thing in their mind is to play their own game. I think 10 Seconds Gaming, they have a plan in mind. Axis, they can't get in their heads about this. They know it's going to be a difficult comp to pull out, but if they wait for the right timings, wait for their conditions, I think they might be able to pull out a W here. But let's go straight into the game between these two top competitors in the lower section of the bracket. 10 Second Gaming versus Axis Esports.
Now, I'm still curious to find out what exactly those 9 secret recipes to success are for 10 Seconds Gaming because they talk so much about how they have never really lost their series against a lot of all these teams, but they finally fell in the hands of EVO's Legends, which brought them in towards the 2nd seed. And, wow, look at that go. So Taka here, of course, securing that turn above. Well, 10 Seconds Gaming is already going for a couple of invades heading in towards the jungle.
Yeah, very good response here from both sides. We're just going to have to see how they want to play this out. Tommy Bell is already level 3. He's getting far ahead of the team, and I'm pretty sure that they bought the wooden mask. We just can't see the indicators above their head.
Very selfless support coming in from Surrey in that sort of sense. Still level 1. Gonna hit level 2 pretty soon. Same goes to Abuyan. So that River Crab will definitely help him a whole lot. Of course, that will still be given away to Papa in that sense. Well, here comes the members of 10 seconds ready for a flank. Scott does go in for an attempt, and there it goes. Raid coming from the back as well. Axis Esports wants to commit, and Tataka falling really low. That's 20% more of HP left for Tataka, but they do get enough respect coming from Axis Esports.
Good rotations coming in from Axis. They're making sure they're keeping 10 Second Gaming in check. They're not having a very big idea, a very big window to actually look for the punish, even though 10 Seconds Gaming were there first. Good defense, but let's see how 10 Seconds Gaming want to play this out, because it looks like they want to punish topside.
Yeah, and I really like that double retribution setup as well, as we see Lilia holding one of it. So if they were to actually go in for those sort of skill attempts, that will possibly be happening as well with that really high damage output in that sense. Now, great rotation through the middle, while Axis Esports is pushing the bottom lane as well. There might just be a little bit of collision in the jungle. Rin waiting inside the bush, and Surrey soaking a little bit of plates, and here comes Evil X.
Yeah, look at how they're going to play this out. It's a 1-3-1 composition here. They have a 3-kill squad, 2 tanks with Tomebo to kind of peel them off and slow them down once he gets that full gauge. But for the most part, the true damage is going to be a huge part. But Lilia on the top side, she's kind of rotated downwards. They're expecting something to happen here for the side of Axis Esports.
They have to be careful about the Kufra, as we see 10 Second Gaming Plus popping in and out. Surrey just bringing a little bit of tension here. Tomebo's going to commit to its Evil X while charged to escape. So they will negate the danger right here. Still a stalemate between the two of them, but Evil X comes right back at him. Surrey just heading towards the back line here. Scott's going to be getting himself in the middle of the pack, but here comes Evil X. They're going to commit to this fight. Flickering pop there from inside of Rin as well. And now, look at how disciplined both sides are.
Yeah, they're still alive. Masha in the backside fighting 1v1 against the Cho. She is not in position to take this fight. The buff looks to be stolen away by the side of 10 Second Gaming. They are just making sure that they can't really play the game and are starving them out of the jungle. 10 Second Gaming on the top side. I'm not sure if Lilia was able to take the buff away. River Crab going over to 10 Second Gaming again. They're taking everything.
Just about 700 gold of a difference. Not too huge of a lead, but then again, they're starving them out of EXP in that sort of sense. Now, level 7 already being hit, while Scott is still level 4 in that sense, as we see Axis Esports here sticking as a unit. This is something that's a little bit rare to me, because Axis Esports like to play 1v1 as well. They like to focus over in mid lane, but look at them go. Here goes Papa being taken down for first blood. And Axis Esports take the lead in terms of kills.
Woo! First blood already, but it took so long, 3 minutes and 45 seconds, around 45 seconds, to actually secure the kill after so long. Both teams are refusing to play super risky. They're waiting for the right conditions, but a great setup by Scott. Papa gets caught out of place.
Fire that he puts out, but great. Overstepping in towards the enemy lines, and now will be bursted out. A little bit of lateness coming in from Obuyan as well to Meeble, but they're committing towards getting Riz. Last and Sally pops up, looking for Scott as well. Here comes Gato Gacha, knocking him off, and that will buy enough time for an escape.
A good 1-for-1 trade for both sides. Surrey for Rin this time, and I think it's a little bit more worth it for 10 Seconds Gaming trading a tank for a main mage, as 10 Seconds Gaming continue to push forward. It's been 5 minutes into the game, and nobody has been able to touch the turtle.
Oh, well, I think that is way too risky coming in to that sort of a tussle that they even have in between those jungle entry points. So, with that being said, they gave enough respect to each other, but 10 Seconds Gaming Plus, they're only focusing on all these buffs. Evil X already forcing the element out, but Tomebo here just having so much of that pressure. I just love how the Japanese are actually rotating around and forcing all these members of Axis to do what they're not supposed to.
Exactly, and they have very good understanding of buff timings as well. The moment they steal it away, they know exactly when it's coming back up, so they just time it right, plan their rotations to make sure they end up on the right side of the map. The turtle is going to be saying Lassid's in a little bit of trouble, but he's forced to back away. Evil X needs to clear that way, but the rest of the team comes through. Last Insanity is pushing on forward. Boxia in the back line doesn't want to commit to this, but happening on the top side, Papa blocking off with the black shoes. He comes out of safety, but Axis Esports break a top tier 1. They trade turrets.
Well, we know that Lilia might just have some plans up her sleeves, as they are trying to actually burst down that Granger, but she knows for a fact that the Kufra has been babysitting that Granger for the longest of time. So understand their restrictions in that sort of sense, and Access Esports forced to give that one away. Same goes to bottom side as Tataka has to watch his hard fall, but here comes Rin going for that commitment there, and they didn't even need any help. And Surin's gonna get caught as well. Here comes Papa going against Rin, and this is gonna be a 1v1. Turns it around as Opuya has just arrived to the scene, looking for Luke. Look at that damage! One ticket of health left, and it's a double kill heading towards Papa, and Papa might just be able to land the triple if Suray could actually haul them through, but that's enough for now.
Yeah, they absolutely disrespected. After the first kill, they probably should have backed away, but instead they were buying a lot of time because Uguya quickly rotating with the Sky Guardian, with the Sky Avatar coming in, landing in the perfect place to make sure that Gushin was not able to go out. They have to respect the fact that Ice Queen Wand is already purchased by Papa, but let's look at this replay one more time. Like, this is looking good, and here is where it gets worse. Papa's already in position. Gato sees the opportunity, cuts off the backline, and now they're in a lot of trouble because Lung as well as Evil X are so out of position. They're so pushed up.
Yeah, and they understand that they have already overcommitted towards the bottom side, where, of course, they got into themselves one kill for Access Esports, but knowing that Rin has already used his ultimate, so they would be easily punishing him no matter what. And Gato just came in just in time, and look at the mid lane go. Oh! That's a collision course, and 10 seconds gaming plus off to that takedown mid lane.
Yeah, that's a little unfortunate, but now this game is slowly coming out of their hands as 10 Seconds Gaming have revved up the engines and they're making sure. I can hear the initial D playing in the background as they're cutting the waves. They're cutting everything away, and this is getting a little scary for Axis Esports.
Yeah, Axis Esports, they know that they might be able to actually get clipped out, especially with the drifting Suray. That's causing a lot of nuisance here, turning things around and hoping to actually connect that hit. And Evil X will be clipped up with the stun, but they are crashing in towards the jungle there as they see all these members dropping low. Tornado will be falling out flat. That's the Xbox crash out of the game. And Evil X still chasing on to Tataka. Tataka here going on the wrong direction, my friend. That's not how you want to escape. And Obuyan only left with a slither of health.
3 for 1 in favor of Axis Esports. They played that really, really well. Like, look, he was acting as bait. He brought Papa away. He chunked them out, realizing that they were doing a lot of damage. Lilia had to try and take him out. However, that Rondo is just a great ability, especially when it gets resetted with the help of his abilities. And the vulnerability, he buys so much time.
Yeah, I think that time bot is definitely so valuable. And look at Obian now having immortality, so he could easily use the element to engage in towards the fight without worrying all too much of dropping low. Suri now flanking from the right side as well. Same goes to Obuyan. Now, where are the rest of the members of 10 Seconds Gaming Plus? They're not really going to fully commit to this, as we see. They don't even do all too much damage towards that Grok.
Yeah, honestly, what the game is coming down to is just positioning. Who has better positioning in the game? Because if Papa focuses his targets correctly and even plays front to front, he might be able to chunk enough people out before having to be aggressive with the black shoes. He has to hold that ability up just in case Rin finds a window to actually land the sword spike.
Well, I definitely would say that it's going to be pretty dangerous when both of these mages collide. And I would want to say that Lung here, scaling upwards with the endless battle being purchased. Look at that crit though, that's only 2 minutes. And imagine if it lands on towards Papa. Now Evil X does not have a single carry in the world, just going to be clearing off those mid waves as we see 10 Seconds Game Plus. Remember, they do have double retribution. They could easily snatch that one away if they do commit towards that Lord and force Axis to battle in places that they don't want to.
Scott's in trouble here. He's trying to get out. He pops out the revitalize. Evil X in the back line. Foul charge. Gets the back. Stops the forward. Sky Guardian's Avatar. He misses. He doesn't hit. Looks alive. And Evil X with the power of nature. He's trying to bail out of there. They defend an awful situation. Rin in the back line. Lasted as well. They're just holding their ground. They're not moving any forward. A great defense coming out of Axis Esports.
They know though, Lasted is just waiting at the back. Just hoping to actually give them the surprise of a lifetime here as he will possibly turn things around and go for the steal, but he has already been spotted out. So the rest of Axis are going for it in re-engagement as well, looking for Papa, trying to burst him down. Obuya's going to do the same towards Long as well, but Long will be able to get himself into safety. Obuya will try to support the rest of the members as we see the Cobra has been slain, taken off, and Evil next will be the next one on the chopping block, and Tomato will melt him like butter.
Yep, but they're sacrificing 2 members in trading for that tier 2 as Masha was able to get a really good push with Rin. Rin was nowhere near the fight. He was just making sure that Totaka won't be able to secure a kill onto that Masha if he walks up. So they had to have an insurance policy, but that just might have netted 10-second gaming a free Lord without congestion.
Well, Axis Esports need to pay a whole lot more insurance fee in that sort of sense to get themselves pretty safe before that sort of base gets crushed down by this Lord.
Oh, now with Lord in their hands, this kind of changes the game up a little bit. Immortality being bumped by Scott. He knows that if he gets caught out, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. But for the most part, I think both teams are doing a fairly good job. 4K goal differential, 10-second gaming. Once Lord starts knocking on the doors of Axis Esports' inhibitors, they might be able to secure themselves their final items for their carries. Like, look at that. The Winter Truncheon for the side of Papa. He's able to walk up in front because he knows he can tank the damage. He can go back in time with the black shoes. And if that's not all, Winter Truncheon just to make sure you don't get to play the game.
Oh, yeah. And Immortality. Well, there's definitely that second life as well. Here comes the Lord. And now Obuya does not even want to care who's in the front line. He's diving in for Rin as well as Long, soaking enough damage only to bring him to 50%. But now Lord has emerged and Scott forcing this fight out, and they want to end this game right here, right now. Scott being brought down low. None of his members have fallen yet. Here comes Lasset though. He does have the attack speed to actually clear out the Lord. It won't be enough for them to bring it down, but the rest of the members of Axis Esports getting depleted all down to low to turn this around. But this is way too much for them to handle. The Japanese side, 10 seconds gaming plus. We'll take game 1.
They played that so well. Congratulations to 10 Seconds Gaming taking game 1 away from Axis Esports. Woo! I have to say, that was a pretty tough game, but overall, once the snowball got rolling, once they had Lord, they made some great decisions, and I think Axis was just pushed back into a corner.
Well, I think that they definitely need to juice up in game 2. And they do have similar ideas heading in towards the draft. The way that Axis Esports drafted out was almost perfect. And it's all boiling down to that execution where they just lost a lot of the control, especially towards all these Reaper fights.
I told you, the game is about being in the right place at the right time. It's all about positioning. Gaming, they're very disciplined in where they stand. If they control this area, where do they have to split? Where do they have to position themselves? Where do they have to be? Axis Esports got caught off mid-rotation, and then they had to make a split-second decision. Okay, they're going to be able to take Lord. We can't really contest this.
There was a lot of back and forth going on
Yes.
between both the team, and now let's bring up the statistics here to elaborate even further. Tomibo, we talked about him, of course, coming into this playoff runs as one of the top dogs, and look at him go. He is definitely selfless as he has fallen 7 times, but look at the support as the assists went off the charts with 25 in total.
Yeah, and again, like, it's come to the point where a lot of teams are deciding, you know what, it takes way too long for these marksmen to come up online. Like, I feel like, especially with Granger, yes, he has the damage, but if the tank scale enough, he's not going to do as much as he would like it to. And they're deciding, you know what, let's put Tomoebo on this export. He's going to be doing a lot of early game damage. We've got Lilia on our sides. We've got Sho. Our damage dealers need 1 to 2 items to really pop off. Let's make this early game count, and they did.
Yeah, and remember how they actually start things off in definitely sparkle and ignited a whole lot of blazing trails across the enemy territories as they pressurize that buff over and over and over again, forcing them out of their territory. And Axis Esports, they're out of their own playground, which they were definitely not in their comfort zone in that sort of sense. And I felt like Axis Esports need to find a little bit of a way to actually counter that in that sense into game 2.
Honestly, I think they were doing a really, really good job. It's just Lord. They have to make sure Lord is their biggest win condition for the side of 10 Second Gaming. With a composition like that, they only have one opportunity. If that Lord doesn't make a difference, they won't be able to scale. But let's have a look at the highlights.
Now starting things off, we saw Sure, of course, getting catch out, but look at Obuyan as well as Tomibo. Although he did fall, they still try to commit to take down Rin. Last Insanity to secure a 1-for-1 trade-off. Katakacha goes up in the air, gets him a little bit of security to actually run up as well. Well, Sataka, although he fell right here, look at the response coming from the rest of 10 Seconds Gaming. Papa went in to assassinate Rin alongside with Obuyan, and Sure just buying enough time, distracting Evil X as well as Long.
I think what we have to understand here is that 10 Seconds Gaming, their composition is designed to kind of do these fast rotations. I mean, you have Sure, once he goes into Bax's shield mode, he basically can just run through the entire jungle, transverse the entire map without much to worry about. And the same thing goes with Gato. If they really need him, it's like, okay, they're pulling the trigger. How do we defend against it? We can have Gato kind of come in from the side lane and jump at least halfway across the map. That's why he's staying around the mid side for the most part, just to respond.
Yeah, that's definitely a surprising factor. We thought that it was going to be even trades, but when that Gato arrives, that's where they turn things around, gets them pounded up, and this is where, of course, fighting in choke points, not really the best of ideas for the side of Axis Esports, but this was a really long extended fight where you see Evil X, he was like trading back and forth as they saw Rin supposedly entering the fight as well, but even he could not withstand the heat that's coming out of that export.
Yeah, and at the very end of the day, I mean, he's pushing back out. We're realizing, like, yes, they have a lot of damage. We can't really cut through their tanks. And if they drag out fights, they're usually going to win this. I think what they needed to do for the side of Axis Esports was really to just stop, wait, and scale, deny the win conditions from the side of 10 Second Gaming, which is Lord, and just slowly come into the game. And once that Granger is online, has his three, maybe even fourth item, he should be able to just shred through the entire team because they don't scale.
Yeah, and they definitely didn't really consider that fact that it's really hard to scale at that point. And as for 10 Seconds Gaming Plus, they're getting so tanky that it really doesn't matter if they went in for this sort of dive. Look at that. The Lord was almost gone, and they're still going for those fights, taking off Axis members one after another, and as they escort that sort of a final minute push, they managed to secure game one in hand.
Yeah.
Pretty much in great fashion as well. And that's our choke point, the entry point towards Lord. We saw Axis just went in rushing one after another. Yes, they could tank a couple of hits, but if one of these members fall, then you know, you're just giving the green light towards 10 Second Gaming Plus to actually secure the Lord. But yet again, they bait them again and again and again. Smart moves all across.
I think that's what they want to do because, again, it's a high-risk situation. You don't want it to be a 50-50. You want it to be 100% confident that you're going to take away that Lord. And I think when it comes to a composition like this, they might want to consider picking up a Retribution just to be sure, hey, we're going to secure this. But looking at our MVP, it's going to be, of course, the man himself, Tomibo, on his export.
I just love how he played that one out. And he wasn't the type of export that went in with those flare plays where you just go in for the dives on the back line. He was just playing a line export. And he didn't really need to actually do too much of those sort of flashy plays like I mentioned early on. Look at the amount of damage he dealt, 23%. And, well, every single fight, he was there for the team.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And more importantly, look at his most played heroes. Export carry Kimmy. This guy is playing not Export as a regular fighter. He wants to carry games, and that's what's super exciting about this.
Yeah, and this is the only sort of a melee hero that's being most played by himself as well.
Yeah.
Well, if you open up the Kimmy, he might have just gone for it as well, where you could also do a lot of DPS. So basically, Tomibo just wants to melt people down no matter what he picks.
Yeah.
And whether he's going to throw some arrows or spears or whatever it is, he just wants to make sure whoever's in front of him will disappear.
Exactly. I think that's something to really consider from the side of Axis Esports because I don't think they were expecting, you know, the X-Borg to be the carry pick of all of a sudden. But looks like we've got an interview video coming real soon here, and I'm excited to see what, you know, what they kind of have to say. But let's have a look at that interview video now.
Apa yang paling bermakna untuk kami ialah keserasian antara kami semua. Bagaimana di sebalik kelainan individu kami masih boleh mencapai satu impian bersama. Keserasian tak semestinya bermaksud yang kami mesti tahu apa yang setiap ahli kumpulan fikirkan. Tetapi, kalau kami boleh faham cara pemikiran setiap kami boleh bergerak selari, beraksi selari sesama kami. Barulah kami boleh menjadi kuat sebagai satu kumpulan. Kerjasama tak bermakna dengan tiadanya keselarian, terutamanya di dalam dunia kami sekarang. Di dunia e-sports kini, kami tak mampu untuk bertindak keseorangan. Kami berlatih bersama, kami makan bersama, kami harungi detik-detik cemas dan gembira bersama setiap masa. Sebab itu, keselarian sesama kami sangat penting. Kami sentiasa ada bersama dengan satu matlamat untuk semua yang kami inginkan, mimpi dan harapan menjadi realiti, untuk menjadi lebih baik lagi dalam apa yang kami perjuangkan, dan semestinya
untuk menang di setiap pertempuran.
Main turnamen M1 ni, kita orang cuba dapatkan yang terbaik lah. Tu dari segi kemampuan kita orang mungkin top 5.
So for our M1 preparation, we have the training schedule. So we have like 10 hours per day training schedule lah. So like 8 hours we like sparring with any other teams. Then the other 2 hours we try meta in the ring.
Untuk opponent yang kuat dekat M1 ni, mungkin banyaklah tim-tim luar tu yang kami tak kenal, tak tahu, tak pernah lawan pun. Tapi opponent yang paling kami agak gerun tu macam Egos Indo, Vietnam team. Tu antara tim yang kita orang agak gerun lah. Tapi kita orang cuba lawan.
So for M1 we don't really have a special strategy or what. Just we recently have a coach, so he tried to fix everything from basic lah to advanced to fix what we got this M1.
In the world, and now they are 1 point away from the brink of defeat.
Yeah, it's sad to say that they are, but I don't think they should give up just yet. They still have an opportunity to maybe reverse sweep this into their favor. Is it something they can do? We've seen it before. They've done it in Season 2 of the MPL MYSG. We're just going to have to hope that they need the support of that crowd, because we know for a fact this is a crowd team. Once they have those cheers, their blood is pumping. They just need to get that goal lead, and the snowball will begin.
Once upon a time, they were known as the underdogs, and today they are no longer the underdogs, and they should not perform like one as well. Now it's time for us to head into Game 2 to see whether Axis Esports can bounce back for Game 2. Rafaela being banned away, same goes to Lunax, so we're seeing similar strategies heading in towards Game number 2, and now match point for 10 Seconds Gaming Plus.
Yeah, and 10 Seconds Gaming, I think they're going to go with the same particular bans. They're going to force out that Gushin super early here. And I think Axis Esports, they have to consider what they want to get rid of, because again, you are expecting 10 Seconds Gaming to go for something like the X-Borg, or maybe force out an option from Axis Esports to really counter and really punish.
Well, I do like that export ban, and MVP over onto the side of Tomibo for great reasons right there, and they gave him enough of respect. And of course, Harif now is getting locked away, knowing for the fact that Axis Esports can play the same sort of picks that they do. And as I mentioned it will be Lilia taken away from 10 Seconds Gaming Plus.
Interesting. They go for the Lilia really early on. I guess Axis Esports really just wants to deny a lot of these picks and force out the hero pool coming in from 10 Seconds Gaming. However, you gotta remember, Tomebo isn't the only carry here. The rest of the team works together. They have Kaja, they have Grok, they have Kufra, some of the high priority picks in the tournament for the longest period of time since the conception of MLBB. We're just gonna see whether or not they're gonna be locking in. Yes, it is. It's gonna be the Grok as well as the Kaja.
Pretty classic picks heading towards the hands of 10 Seconds Gaming Plus. Well, last game we saw Kaja being left out in the first phase. They did not opt to choose it over so many other picks that's out there. Now, heading back towards the Axis Esports side, balls on their court here to pick up something strong. Well, we saw some contests from Foxtail. I'm not too sure if Axis Esports is comfortable enough to actually play on that. And yep, we're having a little bit of look of the Prismans as well, where we also see a lot of all these sort of the picks like Kufra, who's possibly able to actually be hovered upon and snatched away here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, snatched away, I wouldn't say too much, but then again, this is 10 Seconds Gaming. I wouldn't be too surprised if they decided, like, hey, let's try out something funky here. Let's make Kaja an absolute monster as a base. Like, I want to see something like that, but again, I think they're smart enough to know that won't be the way to go. Axis Esports, on the other hand, they lock in the high lows. They know for a fact they can't be counterpicked by the Boxer anymore because they have the both supports. But is this going to be a traditional composition, or is this going to be meta? It's really hard to tell.
Yeah, at this point in time, we're just gonna gotta wait for phase number 2 to come into effect to really see what's in store for us. But looking from the side of Axis Esports here, there's of course the newer classical meta that we're looking at throughout the entire group stages. Now, Chao being removed. Well, what do you feel about this ban? Because it has fallen off the radar in terms of ban ratios, but it's still something that 10 Seconds Gaming Plus do rely on.
Well, I mean, now he's less, most of the time, especially in this tournament meta of M1, we've been seeing him being used as a fighter more often than, you know, your secondary tank. It's going to be the Selena pickup for the side of 10 Second Gaming. And yeah, Cho has just not been doing as well as we'd like to after so many nerfs during the patch. It kind of hurts him for sure. But 10 Seconds Gaming, with that Selena, know for a fact they are going to either look to hit level 2 as quickly as possible and go for those big kills and invades. River control is going to be key.
Tomebo, the star player of 10 Seconds Gaming Plus. I'm really hoping to see this Selena to be in his hands. And we've seen him with some great skill shots, and he possibly will be able to land a couple of clutch abyssal arrows if that's the case. Back towards the side of Axis Esports here. Here comes their signature Franco. Daring moves alongside with the Bruno here. So with this, they respond with the Hayabusa all the way from Japan.
Okay, this is a matchup I've been waiting to see for the long time, the Hayabusa into Masha matchup, because we know for a fact Hayabusa is an absolute beast when it comes to the 1v1s, but Masha, at a certain point in time, she's going to absolutely outscale Hayabusa, and he won't be able to do as much damage as he would like. It's really about who gets the lead here for that the control over the side lanes.
Well, definitely side lane pressure will be priority for either sides of these teams. And not only that, previous game, it was all about that objective pressure that we see heading in towards phase 1, where pre-level 4, there's already so much going on, especially when they used to have the expert. Now they don't really have the expert, and a lot of all these core tanks being snatched away by Axis Esports here. Well, they still have a lot to actually play with, especially with Selena. One good arrow might just be the death of Axis Sports members.
Agreed, and I think both team compositions have some really good plus points. We can see like 10 Second Gaming, they're trying to keep control over the early stages of the game. They have a lot of kill pressure with the Selena and the Grok. They're going to be able to go for these bigger invades. Level 1 is going to be pretty interesting, but I think we have to remember that Axis Esports, if they get a lead, so what? You steal our buff away, but if we get that lead and Franco gets one good iron hook, the oppression will begin. You're not going to be safe under your turret. You're not going to be safe walking to take in your buffs. You won't even be safe sitting in the river.
I certainly agree with that, because Franco poses such a huge threat from the early game to the late game, and if they do connect those hooks, then, well, there's only two ways to respond. Either you let go of that member, or you commit to that fight.
Or you just, sit there and just let it happen. It's not exactly an option you can you
Let natural process take me.
Yeah, just take me away and make this end quick. But yeah, with the Bloody Hunt, it just feels like that you're locked down for so long. You pick one guy, you tell him you don't get to play the game this time, but we're just gonna have to wait and see how both of these teams kind of want to play this out, because that first 3 minutes is gonna be the most crucial minutes for both of them.
Well, let's see how they're gonna fare in that first 2 minutes, or perhaps because Axis Esports now being on the back foot here, they might play a little bit safe, but then again, the competitors say otherwise as well. Now, we're ready to get ourselves into the game, but before that, these are your players once more, as we will be heading in towards the battlegrounds really soon. So, you've already seen the draft.
Yep.
Who do you favor more?
I don't know, man. I think it's so dependent on that level 1 start. Where are they gonna go? How are they gonna invade? Where are they gonna map? That it matters so much because it determines just the core and the shape of the game. Mid game is basically decided by who wins it early. Late game is who can survive long enough and to not get caught by either the Abyssal Arrow or the Iron Hook. But it's time to go into game. Let's get straight into the action of Game 2 between Axis Esports versus 10 Second Gaming.
Malaysian fans are roaring out, hoping for the game tree to come up. And fun fact, if you guys missed out some of all these games for today, a lot of all these games have ended up in a 2-0 victory. Well, some may say landslide, and I would say it's just really hard games for both of these teams, as some of them has already been goodbye, and that's definitely something that we don't really look forward to. Oh, Tamibo!
I mean, that was a good Iron Hook, but he didn't get the buff, unfortunately. I think that was the idea. He probably should have just yanked the buff just to, slow down the process, deny the level 2, and then go in for the kill. But good delay overall for the side of Scott.
Unpleasant surprise from across, and imagine that will be pretty much trollish. Tamibo, second time in a row. It says, nope, I'm going to snatch this one. No hooks for you.
That was about to be 300 IQ, I'm not going to lie. Tataka going to get some damage onto that Bruno, but Axis is already gone with the early rotations. They're going to lock him down. Tobibo's in trouble. He's not going to get away from Scott.
Well, some may say in third time's the charm. The third hook lands and delivered Axis Esports their first blood.
That's so good. Now look, he's going to have to keep control of this. They want to punish the Hayabusa. This is some bad timing, but looking at it, looks like Hayabusa is going to make it out. I don't know. He goes down.
Well, some say you don't have to look at cool guys as they execute some of all these tricks up their sleeves, but now 2-0 Axis Esports, the aggressors here of Buyan, trying to actually land a good Divine Judgment if he ever reaches level 4. But, hell, he's just scaring them because he's still level 2.
Surprisingly enough, despite all the aggression coming in from Axis Esports, 10 Second Gaming is able to zone away the Basha and take first turret.
Well, that's definitely something that I was not expecting heading in towards less than 2 minutes of the game. Well, great trade-off in that sort of sense. I would basically do the same if I do have some great team currency like 10 Seconds Game Plus, but Evil X getting caught in between. Great charge coming in from Suray, but the health of these members of 10 Seconds Game Plus are dropping down, but yet again, they secure one kill in the back.
Oh, that's really frustrating, especially if you're in Scott, because he was trying to look for an angle to get for a good goal for a really good Iron Hook. However, the Gargoyle is just like, nope, I'm aggro, and I'm going to walk right in front of your face. And he didn't get a clear, clean shot onto the enemy team for that Iron Hook.
Wow, I just feel like it's pretty much unfortunate. This esports going on a little bit of a reset. Let's have a look at our instant replay brought to you by Mobile.
Just look at Scott. He's just like, I can't get an angle. This stupid gargoyle is in my face. But yeah, the Revitalize, it was looking good for a moment, and then they realized, oh no, they have too much damage. Our cooldown, we're right off of cooldowns. We don't have a lot of time, and Tomebo got all the damage he needed to get.
Now, 10 Seconds Gaming Plus, setting up a little bit of camp for the turtle push. If any one of these members from Axis Esports go for a little bit of a peek, and in that sort of sense, it's going to be Evil X just passing through, giving him a little bit of free pass, and now they might just go for it and engage!
Yeah, they're going to. Glorious Pathway already down. Axis Evil X is in a lot of trouble. That Ring of Punishment isn't going to be enough as they walk away. Rest of the team. Oh, Abyssal Arrow lands. Luna has to purify. He's gone out of there. They are chucked down to 1 HP. Rin, he He does so much work, but look, has to get out of there. But he can't. He has one slide tackle to make it work. He tries to go through.
What?
He's stuck with the Guardian's barrier. They go down. It's a 3-for-1 trade.
Stuck in the rock and hard place. Now, 10 seconds gaming plus, heading down to the bottom side, crashing it out, and this will be yet another turn for the Japanese side. The Malaysians slowly losing that pressure. One more instant replay to catch what just happened, because Evil X, he was on the safety net, but Sure as well as Papa, look at how they just dove right in to secure that double kill for the carry. And Tomibo could easily just slowly chunk them down, especially with Papa taking down the wave and eventually close things out against Bloom. Back in the game we go.
Yeah, it's super unfortunate because that was a strong 50-50 that Rin might have been able to clutch it out. But again, just the movement of Gloom is so slow. He takes such a long time to move from one place to another without that Ice Queen's wand. And the moment he gets the Ice Queen's wand, it's a completely different story, but he didn't have it at the time. He black shoes backwards into the team and ends up dying. It's like, no, that has got to suck.
Yeah, that definitely will be a little bit tilting. Oh, Booyan buying that shadow map as well, so that's going to be a little bit of that surprise factor. But over the top side, we missed out on a little bit of that kill. Of course, we still saw Tataka was defending the tower with his own dear life. The rotation towards the mid lane as they try to crash this in. And one more tower for the side of 10 seconds gaming plus. Well, there's going to be a little trade up over the top, of course.
Remember what I said? It's all about the early game. And so far, it looked like Axis was doing a good job until they lost 3 members. And now 10 Second Gaming is just going to take and keep control over the river line. Like, if you see Axis walk into the river line, they are very cautious. They have to play a safe game. And they're not willing to walk up. They don't have their tier 1s to give them that vision across the map.
And it's so great to actually see how they protect the carries as well, coming from 10 seconds gaming plus. 3-0-2 for the carry. Already finishing it off with that endless battle. Slowly going in for maybe a Demon Hunter sword or even a golden star in that sort of sense much later on. And, well, Axis Esports now playing a little bit safer. And Evil X spots out Sure.
I think they just don't have a choice. They're 5k down, and now Sure has got a good catch onto Evil X. This is what they want to do. Walk into our jungle. I dare you. I double dare you.
Oh, speaking of dare.
No,
oh, there we go. There we go.
Take it. Rin's in trouble. He goes down. The rest of the team goes down. Tomomo is right on top of him. As Lassin pulls on backwards. Obuya low on health, but still isn't afraid to walk up.
That perfect abyssal arrow coming out of Papa. Lands that shot. And when we talk about it way early on in the draft, instant death delivered.
Oh my goodness. I definitely thought, for sure, I was thinking Selena Tomebo was going to jump onto Rin, killing him, but then he wouldn't have options of getting back out. So he played that fight so slow and was so patient. They knew they secured the kill onto Rin. They was just thinking of how to do it more efficiently.
Well, efficiency is the name of the game, and we're looking at Scott here getting pulled back. Instead, he's got the reversal with the Divine Judgment. Here comes Evil X with the righteous pathway, but he's not! He's stuck by the wall! He doesn't need the Grok to even block him on his tracks.
Yeah, and the rest of 10 Second Gaming, they've developed a 7k goal lead here, and that's so huge for them because now they have no options to really come back into this game, and Axis is just waiting for a mistake by 10 Seconds Gaming. Let's look at a replay one more time. Like, Scott, this in theory, this was a good idea until he realized, oh no, this is Kaja. He gets locked instantaneously by the Divine Judgment, gets yanked backwards. There's nothing he can do there.
Yeah, and at this point, I'm not too sure if those iron hooks is going to be any greater than idea, but over on top side there, we see OG Shadow Kill finishing one more off. Whoa, God, like, Tomibo. Whoa, I'm not too sure. There's so much of all these sort of pressure coming from each of these members of 10 Seconds Gaming Plus that Axis Esports could not even decide who to take down first.
Yeah, it's tough because, again, their core members are super strong, and Carrie is never going to be in a fight. She's never going to be right up in front, and if Franco can't find a single angle, it's going to be tough. Rin can wave clear, but again, it's risky. It's starting to get super risky because Obuya is starting to disrespect them. He's willing to walk up to their faces. He's willing to threaten them with that Divine Judgment insta-kill.
And I love how they are actually playing so safely. Although they do have a huge lead, they never drop a single death. They're already buying immortality at 8-minute mark. And now, here we go. A little dive coming in from the side of 10 seconds game plus.
Oh my goodness, Grok just chucked everybody out. There's nothing he can do. They're going to try and break that inhibitor. Obuya throw. But once again, he's waiting to launch on to that Divine Judgment, but nobody goes down. They break the inhibitor. They're saying objectives first, fighting later. Axis slowly getting choked out of this game. 9K in favor of 10 Second Gaming.
Well, I'm not too sure if there's any sort of miraculous run left for Axis Esports. 10 seconds gaming plus. It seems like they just don't make mistakes. They are so clinical in every single approach that they're taking, and now even Axis knows they cannot afford to get anywhere close to this lore. They have to give it away to send 10 seconds gaming plus.
Yeah, and Lawson is their only win condition at this point. Like, he has to somehow get pressure, but now that the inhibitors are gone, even that seems to be very unlikely for the side of Axis Esports. It's just a ticking time bomb, and 10 seconds gaming will choke Axis out.
Athena shield being bought out by Evil X, but I'm not too sure if that will make that high loss tanky enough in that sort of sense. Now, Lord marching out the mid lane here. They're going to slowly escort those little bit of those minions heading from the top side in towards the base as well as the bottom lane. Well, look at how they're all split up. 1-3-1 formation. Well, I say 1-4-1 because the Lord's joining in too.
Yeah, and they're doing a good job. And now, Masha's in a dangerous position. You can already see the moment she walks back on, the team starts moving on. They have the Shadow Max to kind of protect the rotation.
Whoa!
That's a huge catch. The suppression, the Bloody Hunt goes down. Immortality goes through. Scott goes down. They're just too far ahead. Tomato is still alive as they start knocking onto Death Star. Evil X jumping down the glorious pathway. And now, Lord is hitting down the crystal. They traded 1 for 2. They need to defend this. This is a good opportunity.
They go in!
They go in. Tataka instantly pops them up. And now we have a winner.
Oh boy, and lands the finishing blow. And now we're looking at 10 seconds gaming plus heading in to lower bracket semifinals here with a 2-0 sweep. And they're continuing the tradition in day 1 where all these teams that emerge victorious takes 2 straight games.
Woo! 10 Second Gaming, 2-0 all the way through. These guys are absolute monsters.
Every single second, this game was heart-throbbing for every one of the spectators to watch, and it is definitely a heartbreaking sight for some of all these Malaysian fans.
Agreed, especially for all the fans who bothered to come out here today. To just look at such a crushing defeat is a little demoralizing, but you got to remember we still have another representative, Todak, in the making, and I'm pretty sure 10 Seconds Gaming won't be having such a great time knocking out more and more people as they go through the lower brackets.
We saw the likes of Rexford Gumkion, of course, taking down Todak, but it was not an easy task as well.
Yeah.
We saw Todak really going blow for blow and kills after kills. They're going to do the same thing to 10 Seconds Gaming Plus. Can they upkeep with the pressure? We will have to find out tomorrow. And I just love, no matter how hard they actually fought out, no matter how tight these sort of the rivalries can get, there's huge respect out of the game as well.
And you can even hear just the applause from the crowd for 10 Seconds Gaming as well as Axis Esports. It was a beautiful matchup so far. And honestly, why don't we have an MPL Japan? Because right now we need these guys. We need more info. We need to see more 10 Second Gaming.
We need to also see who else does 10 Second Gaming Plus play against, because whoever turned these guys from that sort of a stable horse into these monsters crushing titans, and now these horses are trampling all over teams and then trying to cause the stampede.
Yeah, and we got to see the stats in a little bit. I'm excited to see how, because it's going to be heavily skewed into 10 Seconds Gaming's favor. But yeah, I mean, the game, I'm not too surprised how it ended up turning out. But let's look at the stats just to prove my point, because for the most part, we know for a fact that 3 minutes into the game, such a huge blunder coming out of Axis Esports. They took a 50-50, they lost 3 members trading for 1, and then from then on out, 10 Seconds Gaming just locked them out of the game.
Yeah, and as we look into the damage output of the game, it's really surprising that the Bruno actually dished just as much as what the Grok almost did as well. Of course, Grok did a lot in the early phase of the game, but 44k coming out of the carry. Papa, I talked about Papa here being one of the best marksmen of this entirety of the tournament. He's coming out with 1K gold per minute.
Yep.
Like every minute you 3 minutes you can buy a major item. That's how rich this guy is.
Yeah, he's absolutely crushing it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, whew, it is scary to see him play. But how are they going to kind of, so far I feel like 10 Seconds Gaming, people don't know a lot about them. They don't know their priority picks. They don't know how big their hero pool is. And now it got into Axis Esports' head. Like they were getting rid of the export, the Harith. They forgot about, the basic fundamentals. But let's look at these highlights before we go any further.
Well, you'd call it a sort of a that hero pool. I will call it an ocean. And wow, look at them go. And Totaka alongside with Obuya. Look at that survey back and forth. They know how to position so well, and they know that limitation. And speaking of limitations here, look at that. Obuyan sets things up, especially with the Grok as well. Sure always making sure that he stays all the way up front, soaking a little bit more damage. But Rin tried to his best to actually stall things out, and he did get at least a single kill. But look at Long. He had no more to actually do right below that tower as he gets stuck with that great barrier upon him.
I mean, this has just been a tough game overall because there is no real way to explain like how can Axis come back into the game. It's so dependent because in this game they can't really force out the mistakes. They don't have a lead. They don't have any goal to back them up to say, hey, I can threaten you for lethal unless I get a really good catch. If 10 Seconds Gaming, as long as they avoid that Franco, they are basically impervious because they had a 5k goal lead. They were one item ahead and they turned it into a 9k goal lead, took Lord, and just like, all right, we can just wait this one out.
Yeah, and they just slowly win it off as well. And look at how 10 Seconds Gaming Plus played this one. And all these cartwheels and all these auto attacks just immediately take down that Hylos as if that Hylos didn't even build any sort of items at all. He just went down straight. And look at this. Sure just soaking all of that, using that wall charge, and eventually, once they open up this tower, that goal time where they just say, let's bring out the Lord.
Yeah, I mean, that final catch towards the end, they're bringing the immortality. There's just no way they were going to win this fight. The immortality is such a powerful item to have when you have such a large goal lead. 12k by the end of the game here. These are just the final few moments that Axis was just trying to hold on. They got, I'm not going to lie, they got pretty close here.
Yeah, that was really close to actually salvage what they have, trying to take down the Lord. But you know, they don't really have enough of that DPS either. And if Franco goes in for any sort of hook, that was the initiation coming in from him. And I think that was definitely a valiant attempt. But remember, there's so many of these possibilities that they could land on one member with immortality, which means it wouldn't be any effective anyways. And that's how 10 Seconds Gaming Plus played a smart game. I gotta say, they are the team with the biggest of wins.
Yeah, and I think everybody is surprised at the tournament at how well they have been performing. I mean, honestly, we have to give a shout to Group D because apparently all the best teams were just packed into just one group. But we're going to be showing you the MVP in a little bit. Who's it going to be? Let's have a look.
Well, I'm guessing it's going to be the guy who plays the carry. And there you go. Papa is coming right at you with that perfect 10-kill KDA of 4.5.
I just love how every single time we see Papa back up on screen, it's just like farming, great, fighting, great, pushing, nah, supporting, nah. Just nah.
Yeah, he's like, nah, supporting's not really my kind of job. But look at him go. From carry to Grok to export and Badang. He's a fighter mainly, as well as a tank. But they are so flexible. They just have surprises. And I guess this is 1 out of 9 of that secret recipe as they finally unveiled this secret weapon in the form of Papa.
Oh, it's so scary how good this team is. They've been prepping for so long. And looking at the carry build itself, you can see he didn't decide to go for the Thunderbell, go for something super greedy. He decided to go for the Bloodlust Axe as his third item to be like, hey, I am not going to die.
Yeah, and they were invincible, indestructible, and pretty much shout out to Manjin, who's also supporting the side of 10 Seconds Game Plus right behind it. It's just showing me an okay sign. I'm just going to reply with an okay as well. But, well, that was definitely some fine action that we just saw. And I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a whole lot more coming right back at you for day number 2. Have you guys got your tickets? If you guys are not sure, you guys are missing out on the biggest event of the year for Mobile Legends.
So, man, have you seen this stage? It's absolutely ridiculous here. This small camera can't even show you the perspective of how large it is. But let's have a look at the interview.
Bang daripada 10 Second Gaming. Congratulations. Okay, so apa perasaan you bila dapat tahu 10 Second Gaming masih berpeluang untuk bertanding di M1 pada hari besok?
じゃあ先におめでとうございます。もう勝ち抜いて気持ちはどう思いますか？
そうですね。今回はアクシス e スポーツ、ずっと研究してきたチームで、彼らはミドレーナーが非常にうまいので、どうやって倒したらいいのか、研究して、それが活かせた、ので勝つことができました。
Kita memang dah plan dan research pasal Axis. So dengan research kita memang study Axis team betul-betul dan kita execute semua dia punya skills dan kita punya skills pun, dan dengan itu kita dapat menang.
I see. So maksudnya sebelum ini 10 Second Gaming betul-betul dah kaji and dah prepare untuk bertarung dengan Axis.
Ya, yeah, betul.
Kita nak tahu apa, sebab you adalah salah satunya wakil daripada Jepun, apa harapan yang you nak bawa ke Jepun untuk supporter you?
なんか皆さんは、日本代表としてだからこの大会から何を取り戻すか、はい、一言。はい、
そうですね。日本ではまだモバイルレジェンドのリーグというものがなくて、プロチームとかもほとんどないので、これを機に日本が強いということを証明して、そういうのにつながればいいなと思います。
Sebab kat Jepun Mobile Legend ataupun League dia tak famous, tak berluasa. Jadi sebagai Jepun punya team, kita ingin tunjuk kekuatan kita, dan hari ini kita dapat tunjuk yang kita ni adalah kuat, dan berharap satu dunia dapat lihat Jepun punya strength dan kekuatannya.
So ini adalah jejak pertama, langkah pertama untuk Mobile Legends kembali bersinar di Jepun. Okay, so guys, jangan lupa datang besok sebab kita still ada 4 match untuk besok, dan juga besok kita ada K-Click. You kena K-Click tak? Tengok, 10 Second Gaming pun minat K-Click tak? So you guys jangan lupa datang besok dan kita kembali ke Desk Host. Thank you.
Great interview overall. Some very good words. I mean, it shows a lot that how much preparation can do and push you so far in a tournament as well.
Yeah, and not only that, humility as well as respect. With that respect,
truly,
you do your studies, and they did that due diligence to get themselves so well prepped for every single one of these matches. And now, let's have a look through the brackets to see what's in store for us for tomorrow. So today, we've already racked up all these games here with Rex Regum Kyun moving up towards the semifinals alongside with EVOS Legends on the upper bracket as they will face off against each other. And only one of these Indonesian teams will be heading towards the grand finals in the first phase of the day, and maybe another will be able to climb out from that lower bracket. Now, heading towards the lower side, let's break it down as well.
Yeah, I mean, so chat, put it in chat. Who do you think is going to be making out of the lower brackets to meet their competitors at the very end? Sunspark versus Burmese Ghouls. Is it going to be 10 Second Gaming against Todak? I love the spread of it, and I feel like, you know, EVOS versus RRQ, it's going to be a huge bout, and I think a lot of people are like, that is going to be the grand finals. EVOS or RRQ, one of them is going to get knocked down, they're going to smash everybody else and move up, but I don't think so, you know? I kind of feel that whoever gets knocked down from that upper bracket is going to take such a blow that it might give and open a window for one of these 4 teams to actually take them out and go to that grand finals.
Yeah, but one thing secure for them is that they at least will secure a top 3 finisher in that sort of sense. So, well, prize pool aside, of course, they're still looking to bring that glory home and towards, you know, whether it's a gaming house or just to show it to the Mars.
It's the bragging
yes,
rights.
It's definitely the bragging rights in that sort of sense. But lower brackets, that's the danger zone. When we talk about Japan, who now moving one step ahead, tomorrow facing yet again another Malaysian team. And after taking out Axis Esports, tomorrow they'll be facing against Todak. And we saw Sunsparks also coming up ahead.
Yeah, and Sunsparks is already a huge competitor in this tournament in itself. The Philippines are going to be rooting for their final representative. Hopefully they can make it all the way towards the end, and I think that's what they're hoping for too.
That's right, and Burmese goals. Let's not forget about Burmese goals right here, because that's the hot favorites of Myanmar. We saw some of these fans flying from all the way from Myanmar just to watch them right here in Axiata. You can do the same as well, and now this will be tomorrow's games to be played out. Starting off, we have Sunsparks versus Burmese Gold at 11 a.m. early in the morning, so make sure you wake up for that. And of course, 10 Seconds Game Plus versus Todak Esports.
Ooh, delectable. RRQ versus EVOS Esports going to be the second final game of that day to finally go to that lower bracket match in 8 to see which one of those competitors will be moving on.
That's right. That's definitely going to be a repeat of the MPL Indonesia Grand Finals in that sense, to see who will be heading towards the true Grand Finals of M1 World Championship 2019. Now, we're going to call it a day right here, as it has been a real long one, but I definitely enjoyed myself alongside with Kid and Q right here. And of course, shout out to the rest of the casters who's doing a great job, as well as the hosts on deck, as we have Fiora as well as the Hound, who delivered such a great job. And of course, big thank you to all of you guys who've been watching, or from home or from the stadium. And we also like to shout out to our sponsors as well as our organizers.
Yeah, we got to thank our official sponsors, U-Mobile, live on streaming on YouTube Gaming, as well as our final one, Unton, for making this all happen, presented by them as well. So thank you to every single one of them. We're going to be wrapping it up here. See you tomorrow.
Dan dikejar oleh Mimi, masih belum pasti. Ganda-ganda, dia dalam pada super kali kedua. Mimi masih dikejar, tetapi ada Mak di bahagian belakang. Tony tetapi jatuh. Wan dalam keadaan bahaya, itu dia akan tahu ganda telah jatuh. Tetapi Wan masuk, unstoppable. Mendapatkan satu, tetapi Masha sudah masuk. Mendapatkan johet, tetapi Masha, Allah.
Yang pertama dan Lucky tidak begitu bertuah dan akan menjadi pantas daripada Lord. Walaupun wow, damage yang besar dikeluarkan di bahagian belakang. Pusatkan dicari, penalti zone dibuka. Seorang demi seorang, tumpas di tangan pemain Sunspark. Lucky di bahagian hadapan, diayun dengan serangan dilakukan oleh Croc. Mega kill untuk Kimi mencari yang kedua. Tetapi fokus mereka begitu saja. Tembakan bertubi-tubi dan mereka flicker ke hadapan. Damage dicari kepada Hyde yang terus terkorban. Begitu saja. Tembakan bertubi-tubi dan mereka flicker ke hadapan. Damage dicari kepada Hyde yang terus terkorban. Begitu tarikan daripada Divine Judgment menarik Lucky, tetapi Nominal Blast dicari. Dua orang terkena stun. Hyde di bahagian hadapan cuba untuk menyerap semua shield yang ada. Shutdown menjatuhkan JP. Sudah mendapatkan double kill, mencari yang kedua, tetapi damage belum lagi ada. Broly menggunakan Deadly Stinger ke semua mereka. Nyawanya sangat-sangat rendah. Hyde sekali lagi menggunakan Star Moon Bomb, mendapatkan kill demi kill, mencari yang kedua. Rezio ada immortality, tetapi dia juga
masuk, cuma nak pergi kepada Marksman, tapi pergi kepada Supra. 4 orang pada tim semua sudah berada di dalam itu, di mana lagi dibuka. Tetapi Tyrant Great memperhentikannya. Lagi terkini dibuka. Avatar ketiganya telah dilepaskan. Evil dan sebanyak yang boleh mengelakkan skor daripada terkena. Dan itu dia job daripada Tank, tapi Rin pula di bahagian tepi terpaksa berundur. Tomebo ingin banget dijumpai oleh Tomebo. Tomebo fire missile, cuba nak mengelakkan reaksi daripada datang ulang, tapi mereka datang juga. Lihat bagaimana mereka bertempur di bahagian bottom lane ini. Long menjaga posisi di bahagian belakang. Rhapsody Rondo, tetapi skor loyalty terkena pula dengan Tomebo. Expo menjadi mendapatkan kill, pergi pula kepada Evil X. Evil X sedang dikejar, dibakar hijau-hijau, tapi Evil X mereka tak berhenti, tapi